Everything cut from Fallout 4's Automatron DLC. After listening to the caravan distress call, you're instructed to head to an area near WAD's consumer electronics. Once there, you'll find a group of robots battling each other. In the final game, every human member of the caravan has already been killed by the time you arrive, but originally, the quest script indicates that the caravan members were meant to still be alive, actively fighting the Mechanist's junk bots, before being killed in front of Ada as the battle unfolded. That's why Ada has voice lines, seemingly reacting to them actively being killed in front of her in the final release.
You're killing them! This can't go on! Look what you've done!
At one point, Ada was planned to use the female processed voice type, the same voice you can assign to your own robots at the robot workbench. Every unique line of dialogue Ada speaks throughout the DLC, from beginning to end, is also recorded in this processed voice type.
Jackson, someone has answered your distress call. Jackson.
You can even switch her voice to the processed version in the creation kit, and have Ada use this voice throughout the entire DLC.
My name is Ada. This is the third time we've been attacked by robots like these. Even with the weapon and detection upgrades Jackson gave me, I was unable to defend them.
One of the most surprising discoveries I've made while digging through the DLC's game files is that Ada was not originally intended to be the main companion of the Automatron DLC. Codsworth was. Evidence of this can be found in an early abandoned prototype script for the quest Headhunting. Inside the script, we can see code that would have overwritten Codsworth's vanilla base game dialogue and forced him to become your active companion before starting the Mechanist's questline. This suggests Bethesda originally planned for Codsworth to guide you through the DLC and help you take down the Mechanist. At some point during development, however, the plan appears to have changed. Using a vanilla companion as the focus of an entire DLC could have caused compatibility issues or felt strange for players who didn't like Codsworth. So Bethesda introduced Ada and rewrote parts of the questline. There's even a script named DLC-01 Codsworth Companion Data Update that would have made Codsworth forget that he hated you. Codsworth also has leftover code for Cut Radiant quests that would have been enabled after completing the DLC. In the final release, you can receive these rogue robot hunting missions from either Ada or the Mechanist, but according to the prototype script, a global variable specifically enables these quests for Codsworth. Another piece of evidence that Codsworth was once intended to be the DLC's main companion. But before we go any further, I've gotta have a quick chat with my girl Sarah Lyons on Polybuzz. Today's sponsor, Polybuzz, is an app that lets you talk to or even create your own AI characters based on your favorite games, movies, comics, anime, and more. Hey Sarah, what's it like killing a super mutant? She taps her helmet where a scar would be. Messy but satisfying. They don't bleed green for nothing. Here's a better question. Do you have a crush on anyone at the Citadel? She scoffs, clearly annoyed by the personal questioning. That's classified and irrelevant to your interrogation. Yikes, cagey, alright. Honestly, the wildest part isn't just the banter, it's how specific these conversations can get. Now let me go chat with Joshua Graham and ask him an existential question. What if there is no God? There is always a higher power, even if we don't know its form. Without purpose, we're just drifting in chaos. Wow, a very deep answer, as expected from the Burn Man. Whether you're talking battle tactics with Sarah, or having deep philosophical debates with the Burn Man, Polybuzz lets you interact with characters in a way that feels surprisingly immersive. That's why it's no surprise they've reached over 40 million downloads worldwide, with 20 million unique characters to choose from. It's a great way to have companionship from the personalities you love, and you can also create your own unique ones like I just created Ada. Download Polybuzz through my link in the description and use my promo code AGC6 to unlock even more premium features for free. Now let's get back to the video. After clearing the General Atomics factory, building a robot workbench, and installing the radar beacon on Ada, you'll need to retrieve 2 additional components to trace the Mechanist's signal. In the final release, all 3 components use the same radar beacon model and name. Originally, however, the other 2 components were intended to be unique, a beacon amplifier and a beacon oscillator, Both items were fully created but ultimately went unused, remaining only in the test cell, Test Tony. The final radar beacon must be retrieved from Jezebel, a robo-brain enforcer who has been captured by the Rust Devils and is being held inside the Fort Hagen hangar. While clearing the hangar, you may come across a scene featuring two pre-war skeletons dressed in military uniforms. One has collapsed over a table with a gun, while the other has fallen backward, still holding a water cup beside a broken water cooler. There's a cut note titled "The Last Straw" found in the game files that was most likely meant to appear near the skeletons, giving more context to the scene. It reads, "We're running out of water and this jackass keeps drinking from the water cooler. This is the last straw. I'm not going to die because of his negligence." After reaching Jezebel, she'll inform you that you'll need more than just a radar beacon to reach the Mechanist. She'll then make you a deal. In exchange for access to the Mechanist's lair, you must rescue her from the Rust Devils and build her a new body. Once the deal is agreed upon, you'll have to carry the Robo-Brain's head in your inventory. After exiting the Fort Hagen hangar, Jezebel reminds you that you still need to build her a new body, and then remains silent until you do. However, she was actually meant to keep talking to you while sitting in your inventory. According to the non-functioning dialogue scene, Fort Hagen satellite array, Jezebel ambient scene exterior, she would have continued complaining, criticizing you, and reacting to the different things you were doing in the world.
Your belongings are filthy. Do you pick up everything you stumble across? How do you even walk with all this junk? I have brain power you could not begin to comprehend. Such high-level thought would likely cause your nose to bleed. Are you even listening to me? I've heard humans use 10% of their brains at a time. What does that other 90% do? Just sit there? What a waste. You know, as far as bodies go, yours is not the worst. Perhaps you could empty your cranium for my occupation. No. It would be far too tight a squeeze. What was I thinking? I've had enough of jostling around in your pockets. Let me know when you found me a body, will you? Entering rest mode in 3, 2, 1. Good night.
It seems the developers either forgot to implement the dialogue correctly or intentionally removed the ability for these voice lines to play. Once you build Jezebel a new body, she'll give you the information you need to reach the Mechanist. After her dialogue and the quest are finished, Jezebel repeatedly cycles through the same few voice lines, telling you to go away or that she finally has time to work on her calculations. However, there are 3 additional post-quest voice lines that were intentionally cut, where it sounds like you may have originally been able to make her life more miserable, or possibly punish her or humiliate her for her role in the Mechanist's robots killing innocent people.
You should have left me with those raiders at Fort Hagen. At least they treated me with the reverence I deserve. I'll have you know that leaving me connected to this machine is an invasion of privacy. I never expected to spend the next part of my existence staring at a wall. How dreadfully tedious.
While searching for the Mechanist and fighting through the massive pre-war robotics facility known as the Mechanist's Lair, where horrific robo-brain experiments were conducted by the US military and General Atomic scientists before the bombs fell, you can stumble upon the robo-brain R&D area where you'll find 2 feral ghouls suspended in a large tube. If you look to your right, there are also 5 smaller tubes attached to the ceiling, with one containing a super mutant head floating inside it, and another containing a single Radstag head. The remaining 3 are empty, but they were also intended to have things floating inside them. By looking through the DLC's game files, we can find out what they were supposed to hold. One would have contained a cat head, another would have contained a group of crows, and the third empty tube would have contained a stinger. I have to say, I'm kind of glad they left the severed cat head unused. The Brotherhood of Steel and the Minutemen were intended to have their own unique Eyebots that would have helped them fight the Mechanist robots and the Rust Devils. The Brotherhood Eyebot appears similar in appearance to the Servomech Eyebots, but with a silver color and a Brotherhood decal on the front grille, and the Minutemen Eyebot looks similar to the regular Eyebots, but with a much more rusted and worn appearance. Finally, for our last piece of cut content, there's a cut consumable brain that would have appeared in the DLC. The brain doesn't have an inventory icon and is only visible when dropped on the ground. If you consumed it, it would have given you +2 intelligence and a -1 endurance for 4 minutes. But that's everything I found cut from the Automatron DLC. If you enjoyed the video, check out my other Fallout cut content videos next. And thanks for watching.